I'm Aryn Johnson.
And I'm Aryn Johnson.
And today we're going to talk a little bit about Claudette Colvin, who refused to give up her bus seat just 9 months before Rosa Parks in 1955. Though both women were African American and refused to give up a seat on the bus, Rosa Parks is more well known because she was older and well respected. But because Claudette Colvin was just 15 years old and became pregnant out of wedlock, poor, and was not respected or given sympathy, she is not as well known.
She was one of the 4 women to challenge and eventually overturn Montgomery's segregated bus laws in Browder versus Gale at the Supreme Court. But she still isn't widely recognized today for her courage. Part of the reason we haven't heard much about Colvin is because of her age and status at her refusal, according to NPR. Montgomery's segregation laws at the time dictated that black passengers sit behind white passengers on public transportation. And bus drivers routinely moved black passengers.
Claudette Colvin being just 15 years old and getting arrested for resisting bus racial segregation in Montgomery, Alabama. Colvin was one of the 5 plaintiffs in the first federal court cases filed by civil rights attorney Fred Gray on February 1st, 1956, as the Browder v. Gale to challenge bus segregation in the city. Claudette Colvin and her guardians relocated to Montgomery when she was 8. She later attended the Booker T. Washington High School in Montgomery. On March 2nd, 1955, Colvin, while riding on a segregated city bus, made the fateful decision that would make her a pioneer of the civil rights movement. With that being said, I feel like go ahead and make the right decision. Do what you think is right. Stand alone if you have to. Whatever the case may be, stand up for your own good. Yes, Claudette Colvin did refuse to give up her seat to a white lady at the time, and she was very motivated by what she had been learning in school about African American history and the U.S. Constitution. And one of her famous quotes says, "I always tell young people to hold on to their dreams, and sometimes you have to stand up for what you think is right, even if you have to stand alone." And in that process, Martin Luther King Jr., a Baptist minister who endorsed nonviolent civil disobedience, emerged as leader of the boycott. Following a November 1956 ruling by the Supreme Court that segregation on the public buses was unconstitutional, and the Montgomery bus boycott was a successful enterprise that put on full display the influence of the African American dollar. It has been suggested that the boycott cost the city somewhere around $3,000 per day. At the time of the boycott, African Americans made up about 45% of the population.